All right, what's up, y'all? We doing a holiday little shindig just for Christmas though, and time though. No real subject or anything, just to have something on deck, you know. Wouldn't even call this an episode. I call it an episode, but not the episode.
It's good enough.
Yeah.
It's called We Bored episode.
Yeah, we bored. You know, they call it GED, good enough diploma. That's pretty much what this is. So, Lola, tell us about yourself, and would you be interested in figuring out reading, not reading, but checking out some podcasts and being a part of it?
Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
Okay, what's your backstory? Like, what do you do? What are your interests and stuff like that?
Well, I'm a mom of 5. I'm 44. I don't know.
Well, you believe in something.
I'm pagan.
Well, yeah.
This her holiday right here.
Hold on. I mean, I'm pagan, but I still believe in God. So.
Yeah, and we've had people on the show dealing with different type of issues too. Like, I mean, we done had witches and everything else. So.
Right.
Here.
Rick, you good?
Yeah, man. My camera like froze up for a hot second. Something. Had to get.
Okay, so how do I open this up? So.
Something wrong. I guess calm my bubble gut.
How much Crown Apple you had? That stuff was good though. You put me up on that.
Well, okay, so I got the app on my laptop now. So I just put or is it too late? Just
no, it's the same info. You just be signed in 2 different devices.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I started with the laptop, I can't see nothing else.
So my sister kids is twin 13, right? My niece ain't know why we celebrated Christmas. So I guess my sister best friend told her last night we celebrate Christmas because it was Jesus' birthday. So I had to go blow that whole thing up.
Of course. Only as you could, though, too.
Yeah. I said, well, who told you it was Jesus' birthday? And then, my cousin came from Alabama. She talking about it's in the Bible. I said, you sure that's in the Bible? Because I ain't never seen it there. I already brought it back several times.
Did I just do something bad?
A dog just asked me what I mean when I ask you, do you want to be on my podcast right now? He's going to say, what do you mean? I ain't got time for that. Because
he don't know. You probably caught him out the blue, too.
I got a podcast.
Yeah, but still, you probably caught him off guard. Like,
enter pairing code.
Which one do you want me to do? The Boss Baby back in business or the Boss Baby get the big?
Is that the laptop right there?
Yeah, it's saying enter pairing code.
It should just be the ID and then a passcode.
So imagine this thing is over 7 billion.
How many digits is it? It's 6 digits. I would try to do whatever it is. The passcode is 6 digits, right?
Yeah.
So I would try putting that in.
It's over 7 billion people on Earth. And imagine how many of them people celebrating Christmas and don't know what it is.
Vast majority, honestly.
Oh.
Yeah, basically.
But man, why you eating that plate like a first-time felon?
He always eats fast.
Dang, let's just give your stomach a rest, man.
I ain't worried about nobody stealing it.
No, yeah, exactly.
So I'm assuming y'all all got the same thing I got for Christmas.
Nothing.
Exactly.
I got
You
some
like
rest.
man?
You got what?
Got some rest.
That's
Or
good
R&R?
because
Maybe the R, you just one of the R's, not both of them.
Say what?
I said the R&R, but I said maybe just one R, not both of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, they one and the same to me.
Somebody watching TV?
can you hear it? I got the headphones in. You can still hear it?
Loud as
Yeah,
hell.
your audio comes from your computer. When you listen though is in your headphones.
Yeah.
So your computer, your laptop is picking up the audio, or your phone picking up the audio.
No, my phone is. I can't get the other thing to work.
So my sister-in-law used to do a
Don't take no
radio
little
show.
bites now. Don't take no little bites just because we said so. You're saying what now?
My sister used to do a radio show, so she was talking about she wanted to link up with me tomorrow. So cause she was like, "Y'all gonna do the show right now?" I'm like, yeah. She's like, "Well, what's the topic?" I'm like, "What you want the topic to be?" Then she's like, "I gotta be prepared." I'm like, "We usually just go straight off the cuff with it." She like, "No, you gotta prepare this boop." And so we
Well,
talking
yeah,
about,
and we do though in a sense though. It's a topic that we already know about.
yeah, but today was just on the fly.
Yeah,
You
on
know
the
what
fly. And just like last episode though, we couldn't. We only thing we could do was prepare questions. I mean, we all had questions though. You know what I'm saying? I
I'm
mean,
saying?
I know I'm not no doctor, so
I want to talk about co-parenting.
All right,
oh,
well, speak your mind.
Okay, so when you try to co-parent with somebody and their significant other is always interfering with you
common.
co-parenting and making decisions, you know, how do you go about that? How do you handle that situation?
I give it to God because usually if somebody is in your like per se per like if it's you, you know exactly what you want, what you need in that relationship to co-parent, right?
Yeah.
And is it safe to say that nobody's going to come and tell you what to do about that situation because you already know what you want and need, and it's usually conducive to the child, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in most incidences, though, when somebody's in somebody's ear about something, it's the person that knows the least about the situation. And
Okay.
Well,
go
not
ahead.
necessarily so, because if they're in a relationship, especially if they're living in the same house, they know everything. Well, you can't yes and no, because usually they only know one side. Motherfucker, usually somebody when they telling a story, a lot of the
Exactly.
time they putting the 20 on the 10. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it do be like that. But in other instances where you got somebody that really shouldn't have no say, and then they got that person like puppeteering them to do this, that, and the third, and like,
Right.
hold on, this ain't your kids, this ain't none of your business. That's where it becomes vicious.
Right. But at the same time, like I've been through the mud, I'm still going through the mud and everything. So with that being said, like some people are not qualified to even be parents, let alone co-parent.
Well, we got a lot of that going on.
So with that being said, like you gotta take it on the chin, take it or leave it. Because I mean, you're not gonna find a person. It's not gonna be easy regardless because y'all had a relationship, and that's what people fail to understand. There was
Yeah, but
something there. Go
what
Oh,
if
ahead.
I'm
I'm
you
sorry.
saying
move
she was
past that
asking.
relationship? It's not even about the relationship that you have with the parent. It's about
It depends on who you're.
co-parenting what with the children and doing what's right for the children.
You
And then
gotta
you got
understand. People are
but their
not gonna.
significant other is always interfering with you guys making decisions.
People are not gonna understand that. Like it's about the child. That's a hundred
No.
percent sole purpose of it.
And usually a lot of the time, depending on the people in the situation, it ain't about the child because somebody always in their feelings about some shit. So instead of them doing what's best for the child, they want to do, you know what I mean? Because like you got times where people broke up, but one of them still in love with the other one, you know what I mean? Type
Yeah,
of
yeah.
shit. So
If somebody
they,
decides to leave, then the person that left is done. And if the person that's there holding everything, and they're the ones like usually are railroaded, caught off guard, and they were the ones with the feelings who thought everything was okay.
But it really comes down to the kids, man. And I've heard so many nonsense excuses from people like right now because of the Rona, you know, when it comes to dealing with traveling or going to school and this, that, and the third, people make bullshit ass excuses like, well, I don't want my kid doing this because it's flu season and it's the Rona and I don't want them to get sick. But then to have go somewhere else with the child and put them right in harm's way. You
Right,
know what I
right.
mean? So
Absolutely,
what's the point of that?
absolutely, and I agree with that. But I can't say that because it's too much like right. It'll be a firestorm or something. And some things I avoid. I pick and choose my fights with certain things. So
Well, you got to. You know what I'm saying? You got to. Wise man always gonna pick and choose his battle.
yeah, so I pick and choose. So therefore, I'm not in the midst of all this stress and headaches that's unnecessary. I mean, when people push the issue or push the line or whatever, what's right is right. I keep it simple though. I try my best dearly not to go back and forth with anybody unless it's conducive to knowledge. So basically, I go back and forth with y'all on here because it's conducive to knowledge. But going back and forth with a human being, whether I'm right or I'm wrong, I'm going to sit and listen, and we'll be able to admit to my wrong, or if I'm a hold steady in my opinion, that's what I'm gonna do.
Right.
So basically, it's a waste of time to entertain their conversations.
If you know it's bull BS, and judging accordingly, everybody
Yeah.
knows what BS is. If you know
Yeah.
it's BS, keep it moving. You're gonna be happier in the long run. And then that's when they might take a different approach. You always got to stay on guard too,
Yeah. You got to protect your peace, and you know what I mean. And peace of
at
mind is a
all
beautiful
costs.
thing if you can obtain it. But when you can't, it become an issue. And if you ain't got a peace of mind and you angry or frustrated or whatever, you ain't gonna be making rational decisions. You know what I mean? It's gonna be all based off of
Exactly.
your
And that's
emotions.
another reason. You're right, Rick. You're exactly right. That's another reason why I don't go back and forth, or I don't make decisions when I'm upset or angry. I'd rather shut my mouth and get a better frame of thought, and things change out to be like 1,000% better. Because you're not going to be rational if you're upset. Point blank. Period. Even if you're in the right and you're upset, it's not going to be rational.
I think it would be easier to co-parent if people did shit based off of what the child actually want, like asking the kid. But then again, that can be hard too.
Well, no,
When
you can't ask the child what they want because they don't know what they want. They're gonna go with what they like. If what they like is
Okay, so
cake for breakfast, then that's not
I mean,
healthy,
well, some stuff you ain't finna do, but so and for the most part, a child can't really say what they want, what they like, what they don't dislike. But then
right?
again, you can also have parents manipulating that child to say this or
Absolutely.
say that.
Go
Because
ahead,
if you
Lola.
put that,
okay, so with that being said, my daughter is 9 years old, and we are trying to come to a mutual agreement on how we're going to raise our two children in two separate households as a team and co-parent together. And my children's father's significant other keeps addressing the fact that my 9-year-old states that she doesn't like being at my house because her 5-year-old brother bothers her and interrupts her time. And I
And
keep
isn't that
telling
normal? Like as parents, we have to deal
that,
with that.
yes, exactly. And I've addressed this with her. I'm like, that is normal. It's not going to affect how she's being raised here at my house. And she's just like, well, you don't ask the kids if they want to be there 12 or 14 days out of the month, and that's not fair for you, or that's not fair to the kids. And I'm like, well, it's
first of
not
all, right
fair for
there.
my children not to have the opportunity to be in my household and equally be raised in both households, because this is how we raised our kids before. Like, it's been a year since I decided to change the domicile of where my children resided due to my situation. But now that I'm stable and back on my feet, I want the situation to go back to equal amount of time with the kids, so we have equal rights and be equally involved with the children. And his significant other is just completely not going for it. And
And
she's
and,
fighting
and
with me. No, she's not going for it at all. She
hey, but
wants no
look,
part of
you
me.
have to understand. You were in a situation. You got out that situation. Salute to you. Most people don't. So you're gonna get the most resistance now, and that's true.
But the problem is what it in general is. It's not this woman's kids, so she really shouldn't have no say. Why are you trying to stop her from being a mother to her children?
Exactly.
You know
I
what I
mean, she's
mean?
addressing, she's like, well, to mother, you know, I'm not coming in between you being there with your kids. And I'm like, but you are. You are. At the end of the day, she is.
You
And
gotta
she
get
doesn't
to the
see the
point.
error of her ways.
I hate to say this, but in all actuality, when you're dealing with situations like that, if you can't come to an understanding, it's always gonna come down to a legal suit. You know what I mean? And me personally, I definitely wouldn't be going back and forth with her about anything, like, cause I mean, they're not her kids, so why even talk to her?
Well, I tried the engaging in positive reinforcement when addressing her in conversations. And I've been being nice and I've just been being cordial, keeping, the conversation just focused on just the children in question and everything.
As you're
But
supposed to, but
Right.
notice the more you on point with what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to find opposition.
Yeah.
well, that's all I keep addressing, and I keep telling her, this is what I want. I want us to equally be involved in raising the children. I want the children in both households. I want everyone to work together as a team and co-parent. I was like, we're a team. At the end of the day, we're all going to be a team. I'm not going nowhere. She's not going nowhere. He's not going nowhere. So let's just put it all on the table and get it done and taken care of. And her argument is that's not fair. We're moving. The children are going to be too far in school. How are you going to get them back and forth to school on your time? The children are in virtual learning. They're going to be in homeschool. There's no need for my children to go back to public school at this point. I
Exactly.
don't see it. I don't find it necessary at all. It's pointless.
I hate to say, the way I normally settle issues, but you
Yeah.
can't, you can't do that.
No, yeah, exactly. No, you can't.
You
You
can't
can't.
do none of that. So that's gonna make it worse. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's gonna
and
prove
that's
them
the
right.
thing
Whatever
about it. Like,
negativity though they coming with
shit
too.
like that. Listen, man. Whoever woman I'm with at the time, like my kid, she's not gonna tell me how to have a relationship with my kids when I can't see my kids. No, none of that. I'm not gonna tolerate that shit. You know what I mean? Like, if that's another thing too. Like, okay, so you in a relationship with somebody that got kids. I'm gonna treat them kids like they my kids. I'm gonna expect that woman to treat my
Oh,
kids
you're
like they her
supposed to.
kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
It's a
don't work,
package deal.
and that's an issue. But you know what I mean? Like that's an issue. I'm not gonna have none of that going on, man. I know they say happy wife, happy life, and all that nonsense, but I ain't got time for that because at the end of the day, I know that that's gonna affect my children, and I don't want that to happen.
Well, I mean, as a female, I feel that even if you're married or in a relationship with somebody, you don't have no say so, and you shouldn't be voicing your thoughts and opinions when it comes to a man raising his child or a woman being a part of their children's life.
I
Like
mean,
that's
with
not your place.
since they married, it kind of is because the fact that they married. So she had to take on the responsibility
Your mom is an idiot and doesn't know
being
it's a fucking
a
cat.
mother to your children as well. But like if you was a deadbeat mom, I see where you're coming
What am I
from.
supposed to do
The
with
fact
one
that
fucking
you've been in
sack?
your kid's life and you've been doing this, that, and the third, you kind of do need to fall to the wayside. As far as
Oh my
what they
god,
got going
Jessica, you're
on
a
in their
fucking
household,
idiot, dude.
they
I
can
swear
make
to
those
God.
decisions. But when it comes to co-parenting, as far as you and your baby daddy, you shouldn't really be saying too much of nothing.
Right. I get that. I understand that.
That's just my
And that's,
personal
I
opinion.
mean, but that's why I'm trying to be cordial with her and, communicate with her because, she is helping raise my children. She's going to be a big part of their life. So I need to resolve whatever issues I have with her, and she needs to resolve issues what she has with me. And we need to work together and come to an agreement on what we need to do for these kids because they're getting the best of both worlds from both households. But at the same time, I feel like, you know, before he got into a relationship with her and moved in with her, we had the kids every other week, every other day, and every other weekend. We were both actively, equally involved in the kids' lives. And, I had a situation that occurred where I didn't want my children living in a hotel. So therefore, I asked him to step up to the plate and take the kids for a short period of time until I get back on my feet and get my place back. And in 6 months, I had got back on my feet, got my place back, and got established and wanted my kids to come back home. But I wanted to share them. He could have them half the month and I could have them half the month. And she's not going for that. She says no. Like it's just a no-go.
What's
And
the
he was like,
reason?
I have to side with my wife. She
Yeah,
just says
what's
that
the reason?
she tells me that my 9-year-old daughter expresses that she doesn't want to be there for more than 3 days out of the week because her brother bothers her and her brother gets on her
Oh,
nerves. And
well,
it's
you said
selfish
that.
as me as a mother to
Can I ask
force
this
her.
question? Is the brother when they at home with their dad? Is the brother not getting on her nerves then? Because I mean, they still around each other.
That
So
I addressed the issue.
that don't even make sense.
It doesn't. And I've talked to them about it, and they just were like, they put my 9-year-old in counseling, which is going to be beneficial for me because I already know it. You can talk to the counselors, you can talk to the teachers. Please talk to everyone that you need to, because I know that I am having nothing but positive reinforcements with this situation.
That's awesome. And then I'm not getting off subject, but you have. It seems to me you have a awesome support system.
Thank you.
I mean, if you want to, tell about that, but I mean, the usual person doesn't jump back from certain things.
I've been
But
through a lot, so
well, I mean, a lot. But some people give up. It's either fight or
Yeah.
flight in life.
You know,
I
in life, you always gonna have some twists and turns, and people throwing curveballs at you. You just gotta handle it to the best of your ability. Um,
well, I
seeing as
mean,
how
I ain't
you,
never really had an option but to try to succeed in what I do. Like, because I don't have like that big support group. I can only depend on myself financially at the end of the day. So I figure out how to just accomplish things.
And that's how I am, absolutely. And I can say Rick is the same way. Rick,
Um,
Rick, you got a big heart too. Can you talk about that?
well, a lot of the times, like you know how I am, man. If I do something, I'm gonna say I did it. I'm gonna take my lick on the chin like a man. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Um, but what I say about having a big heart is when you can't have a big heart when you ain't got your shit together. You understand what I'm saying? Because you always gonna find yourself in weird predicaments and situations because you're trying to help people instead of taking care of yourself first. So
Hmm.
it does become an issue. And most of the people I know that are really caring and giving, I mean, we all doing all right to an extent, but we ain't where we feel like we should be in life. Like she just,
Well,
me personally, I was just in a hotel for like 6, 7 months, and that ain't cheap, man. I'm spending up to like 15 a month just to have a room in a box with a shower and a toilet. You know what I mean? That shit ain't cheap at all. So people like look down on folks' situations and not really understanding the struggle. And a lesser motherfucker would be on the street.
true. And that's why I'm saying, like, this came together divinely. I don't know if y'all realize that or not, but hell, we all got something in common.
Yeah. We all going through things. I was gonna say though, because she pagan, so you wanna if you know the roots of the history and the origin of Christmas, you wanna speak on that?
I really don't want to speak on my religion.
Not on your religion, but I'm just saying, like the origin. You can give me the backstory of Christmas.
I don't.
That's her right too.
Yeah. I mean, I feel it, but I wanted her to come on when we do like more of a religious show, because she would have been great when you had old girl on here that was wicked and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because yeah, but you know how that goes. It's
Yeah, but
kind
I
of
mean,
hard.
at the same time, it's her prerogative. Like, we get up here and say stuff how we feel and stuff like that. We
I
not
mean,
all right.
like okay, I ain't know nothing about having the two doctors on last week, but like I know it's with them being on, it's hard to get people to open up and really be themselves because they position they gonna constantly say what's political or they gonna say what's gonna help they field's agenda. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to it, but at the same time, like, is that really how you feel? Like, yeah, this is how I feel. Like, I don't the
Yeah,
way you
and hey, but my main thing with that though too was I watched it again last night and I watched it again today.
Huh?
It seemed
feel.
like they were dancing. You hear
Yeah,
me?
I tried to. I don't know
this
how. I gotta
platform
log
still
into
called
it.
you.
It seemed like they were dancing, but it's my whole my my thing was to educate people.
I mean, well, definitely. I mean, people learned a lot about, the immune system and how antibodies work. It would have been nice to have been able to know exactly what ingredients is actually in the vaccine, because it's two different companies that made two different vaccines. So I don't know
Right,
if they
and with the research I've done, it's the Muslim community worried about halal because it's pig gelatin
yeah.
in some
I
of it.
mean, well, that would be the same thing with the Hebrews as well. You know what I mean?
Don't look like that, Lola. It's true.
I'm like,
But
it's what?
well, it's one of the
It-
ingredients.
I heard mercury was in it too.
Mercury is in every vaccine. That's true. It's in
Wow.
medicines and stuff like that. It's very, very true. And small doses and what you're going through, like it's fine. Just like iodine, you can get too much of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, with it's pig gelatin, and then it was also a Muslim doctor that was explaining, like, well, he's a greater guy. He will want something fixed, though. Like, right?
Yeah.
I
You,
mean,
you you would think so, unless this is all like some type of divine prophecy, which means it's meant to happen. I mean, that's the thing about it. Like, don't nobody, everybody want to go to heaven, but don't nobody want to die in order to get there.
right.
You know what I mean? So
And that's why people spend thousands and millions of dollars to have everything on Earth, and you can't even take it with you.
when you go, yeah.
But
They said, I don't know if you know anybody who was a rapper by the name of like Dope B. He was from out of Montgomery, Alabama. He had just
yeah, he was actually one of my childhood friends produced a song that him and Kevin Gates was on, which I
yeah.
want to actually bring them on a podcast. So, but Doe B, he got killed by one of his friends in his dang video.
Yeah,
So they
man.
be,
Jealousy is a motherfucker. But the thing I was gonna say about that is supposedly he got buried with like 500K worth of jewelry. You don't think folks was gonna be waiting with shovels in the middle of the night to go out there and get that?
they tried it. I don't know if it's true or not, but they tried it.
Yeah, you know how that go. Urban
Yeah,
legend stories being
yeah.
told, but that's
But
just like Nas said that in the song. Rich men try to bury their riches, but they just rob your grave. So it ain't no point in that. I mean,
well,
of
look at the
course, everybody,
Egyptians.
Right, but I mean,
They took pets with them too,
they had some elaborate stuff going on in them
and
tombs. A lot of
still
them tombs,
elaborate, and we still trying to study on how they did it.
yeah, because you risking your life trying to get down in one of them tombs in Egypt, versus going to a graveyard with a shovel. That's something totally different.
But the reward is different too.
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing about it is, regardless of whatever religion somebody believes in, most people at the end of the day are afraid of death because the age old question is what it comes after. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, some people look at it like this. This is hell on earth right now.
I know
mean,
we
some
look at it as like we don't our bodies, our vessels die, but our spirits are still always here. Like we're always still here.
You can't kill energy.
And
Right.
that's what it is, energy. And they actually put a weight on it in grams, y'all, believe it or not.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They say before you pass and after you pass.
Before what?
Before you pass and after you pass.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I've had plenty of nights where I haven't done nothing to do but just.
This is totally off subject, but every morning I wake up, right, I go step on the scale. I go in the bathroom, I sit down butt naked, I step on the scale, and I take a shit. After I finish shitting, I step on the scale again.
Okay, so by now, literally, you can tell by subtraction how much your crap weighs.
Basically, you know what I mean? Like I said, I was 222 pounds 2 days ago. So I only ate twice the day before yesterday, and then yesterday I had two apples. They was like Granny Smith, and I stepped on the scale today, and I was like down to like 216. So I'm kind of happy about that. I'm hoping when I
You
step on the
have
That's
to
scale,
not
understand.
healthy.
No. Well, the thing is, you have to take certain things into consideration. Water is weight,
yeah.
and
But
then
I do plenty of that.
and when you wake up in the morning, your bones are more condensed. You're more dense of a person. So say if you weighed yourself in the morning and then weighed yourself before you went to bed, it's going to be two different weights.
Right.
Period. because you might have done whizzed or whatever a few times, you know, like water weight or whatever. Like at least.
That's exactly the reason why I use the bathroom. They say that the human body hold up to 40 pounds on average, on a daily average, 40 pounds worth of shit.
Oh yeah, yeah, and if you're not healthy, even more.
Mm-hmm. So,
And then the thing is,
Y'all
though,
better
like,
eat some avocados every day.
I mean,
Get that shit out of your system. Eat an avocado every day. Get that shit flowing.
How would we prepare those?
Just cut it open and just eat it.
I'll mash it up, put some Rotel with it, with some dip, and then and it's a good night. And squirt some lime in there. Oh yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, add some spinach.
Oh yeah. And just do a little something for garnish and stuff. I'm Chef Ramsay,
Man, listen.
I don't know. I just learned how to season my food.
Oh, stop it.
You
better stop it. Hey, that's flavor though.
Listen. All I'm gonna say is, when it comes to seasoning food, you gotta put more than like what is that shit, bay leaves and shit like that on it. You gotta have some spices on there, you know what I'm saying, with the herbs and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Salt and pepper ain't never hurt nobody.
But in my defense too, some things don't need that much seasoning too.
Nah, it depends on what you do.
The dish, yeah, it depends on the dish.
Me personally, like people scramble eggs and put salt and pepper in the eggs. Like if I'm making eggs for breakfast, I'm not doing any of that. I'm just cracking the shell.
And you know why too? For some reason, salt absorbs every damn seasoning, like everything. Like, so you sprinkle a little salt, this is salty.
I mean, I tend to use like garlic powder on damn near everything.
Damn. Well, safe to say you're not no vampire.
No, man. I guess it's safe to say. But yeah, it's crazy, man. We be getting people that be hollering they want to come on, man. But it's hard to come on and then actually be yourself in the camera because people get to thinking like, damn, we don't know who's finna see this and what. So that kind of make people want to stay in their shell and not be themselves.
But the thing is, though, with the more we go in and keep pushing and everything, people gonna see it's really the people.
Yeah.
That pays attention to it. Not a single FBI agent that walked up to me randomly since we started this, and we done touched on some of everything since we started.
Well, it's basically about the people and their opinions and their views and how they see things, and that's really important. And I think it's also important too to have a mixture of different cultures on here, so you can get a view, maybe kind of some insight on a different culture. You know what I mean, and how they might view the world versus how this culture do it and that culture do it. You know what I mean? It's really important. Like I said, I would eventually like to have some kids on the show to, because we just preparing them for this world because they inherit, right? You know what I'm saying? They're the future. So everything that's going on, it would be nice to know what they actually think. You know what I mean? And they had like different age groups and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I was corrected, like very, very corrected when I was like, such thing as normal. There's no such thing as normal anymore.
Yeah, I mean, well, there never was a such thing as normal.
Whoa, bread and butter. I mean, each one teach one. Takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah, it do.
That was my normal.
At the end of the day, though, like, normal is based on the individual. What's normal to you may not be normal to someone else.
But is it safe to say that we were raised the same way?
No.
Considering the age gap, me and you, Ricky. Well, yeah, I mean, like everybody has their story.
Yes, you know what I mean. Like we are, coming from the background that we came from. You finna get your ass whooped for doing certain things. We had to yes ma'am, no ma'am when talking to adults. One thing I know when adults was talking, you was told to shut the fuck up, right?
And stay in the kid's place.
Yep.
And I found out a child's place is somewhere quiet away from adults.
Well, you know, they used to say back in the day, like a child is to be seen and not heard. So, like you said, they supposed to be in the corner somewhere, you know what I'm saying, doing their own thing.
Minding their own business.
But nowadays, you know, you got kids, as soon as they see some adults in the room, they and they're, you know, trying to soak it all in and shit. You know what I mean? And, but we also, because of laws and rules and regulations that we got in today's society, it's hard for us to really install the same morals and values that we had coming up. Because, you know, like I said, I don't believe spanking your child is a bad thing. But now, if you do that, you could potentially be in jail, live behind that shit.
Well, it's like this. You start when they come out. We've had this discussion, and if you're sturdy and stern enough, you don't have to go through all of that. The understanding we give them the understanding we didn't have. But
My
Lola, go
thing
ahead
is,
and explain because obviously you're from a different background, cut from a different cloth, though, and I'm more than eager to listen to you.
I was just, but I mean, I was raised to basically speak my mind. I was able to have thoughts and opinions. I was able to have feelings. I wasn't, but see, my mom, my mom's paranoid schizophrenic. So our household was completely different. My father was
And we
a truck driver.
and we dealt with what do you call it? We dealt with like mental health issues too. The
yeah,
thing
we
is,
Yeah.
talked
though,
about
we
that.
didn't have therapy or therapists and stuff like that.
Yeah. We didn't have that with her either.
So that was
We,
something that was normal in your eyes, and you adapted to it.
yeah, we never knew, like, I grew up in a really dysfunctional household, like, but it actually taught me to be a stronger person and handle things better in my
Right.
life.
This is the same. I can say this is actually the same. The dysfunction that we learned is the same thing we learned for. Instead of
Hmm.
learning what to do, we learn what not to do.
Not to do. But we
Right.
also learn to cope with dysfunctional like that's normal.
And
Right.
yeah, and that's the thing though. And that's the thing we can't let that curse keep going, which I feel like we don't stop the buck here with us. But that thing of what goes on in this house stays in this house is true. But but
To a certain
abuse
extent.
but
To a
abuse
certain extent.
but abuse that's when it crosses the line.
Right. But see, kids were taught to not tell nobody nothing. Like
Oh,
my
oh, and
my
like
mom.
I'm literally
Hey,
sitting here with my family right now, and my child would tell me anything under the sun without fear. Come here, Veda. Come here.
hey, look, man.
All right, that
I
I teach
remember
my
the
kids the
time
same thing. Whether I'm right or wrong, speak on it. Tell.
me and my sister Shalonda had spent the night at my folks' house, and you know my mom was strict as hell, so she had came to pick us up, and we wasn't there because we had went to the store,
Wait.
and she told us don't leave from up out of the neighborhood, and we did it anyway. So when we got home, she beat me and my sister ass. Now my sister went to school and told the teacher, you know what I'm saying? And when we came home, Shalonda got her ass whooped again for putting them folks in our family business. Needless to say, she kept her mouth shut from then, from then on out.
Hey, I want to tell y'all a story I never told anybody. I was beat like with a razor strap till I bled, and for no reason, and was told to go to bed. Now I go to bed under those
Look,
covers, bleeding. What do you think is gonna happen when I wake up in the morning?
gonna be stiff, sore, marks
No,
all
you
over.
you're gonna
Getting
you're gonna get
getting
beat again because you got the sheets messy.
no,
I
no,
I
not
live
even
I
that.
lived that life.
It dried up on me. The sheet dried up on me. So getting from
Stuff
under that
too.
cover reminded me of the whole night before.
Damn.
And not to mention, the principal came to me and told me when everybody was like, "Oh, what happened? What happened? What happened?" I got pulled off the bus, and he was like, "You don't say anything I won't."
Mm.
So with
The
that being,
principal,
yeah,
they're supposed to help you.
yeah, but at the end of the day, it wouldn't have helped me.
Yeah,
Usually, shit
that
like
is
that.
true.
If a child is really in an abusive situation and they do speak out, a lot of the times that just make the situation worse. So some kids
And,
get
and
scared.
yeah, exactly. It wasn't like it is today. So I
Well,
would have
you
been like, "Oh, so you gonna say something? What they gonna do? Tell them to come get you now."
right. when my mother was coming up, she would tell me stories about how she would get whooped by the neighbors. They would get whooped at school, you know what I mean? Then go home and get that final ass whooping. But whatever the hell you done did, you knew not to do it no more. And it used to be like that. But nowadays, shit, you see, motherfucker, you better not touch my child. You know what I'm saying? Because people
Yeah, but
really,
they won't though.
yeah. But that's the thing about it, does because you gotta, we come in as the generations keep coming and coming. A lot of them not being raised anymore. You know what I mean? TV, social media, video games, radio. That's what's raising these kids. Now, if I can understand, you got two parent household, got to work in order to provide. Let's say they both got minimum wage jobs, so they're gonna be working a lot of hours because minimum wage ain't money for real. You know what I'm saying? In order for you to really take care of your family and give your children what you want, you're gonna have to bust your ass in order to get it.
Well,
So
the
a lot
thing
of
is
times,
though, and anybody's defense on working, busting your ass to provide for their kids, you're gonna be absent.
yeah, you got to, but that's the sacrifice that you making in order to provide for your family.
Hey y'all, I gotta step up real quick. I'll be right back though. Carry this on. This is so interesting though.
All right. So
And when I hit download, when I upload this, I want to see some conversation too. Like I don't want to just jump back and be like, oh, okay, you back, okay.
yeah,
I'll be right.
what's the word, Lola? What's new in your life?
Well, my blood pressure was like 160 over 101 the other day.
Damn, from what? Stressing?
Yeah, stress. I had to go back to the hospital and they just said I'm just under a lot of stress. I canceled my trip to Vegas, cut
Why?
people out. Why? Because I couldn't get my blood pressure under control. And my doctor said that because I couldn't get my blood pressure under control, and I'm trying to figure it out through medication and through my diet and through cutting people out of my life, that he didn't think it was okay for me to fly for 4 hours, not knowing if my heart was going to race up or what was going to happen. So,
I hate to sound cliche about the whole situation, but righteously, you gotta pray and give it to God. Some
I
things just
did.
don't forever be out of your control, and when it is, you just gotta say fuck it and go with the flow. I mean, if it's a
Well,
bad shit, then go with the flow. But
well, no, because I look at it like this, like there were so many signs that were telling me that I'm not supposed to get on this plane. I'm not supposed to get on this plane. And when I say that, it's only because, okay, one, I'm having heart issues and my blood pressure is going up. Then I get on the TV and it says, oh, these two people had a heart attack and died on this plane and they weren't able to land right away. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm taking this as signs. Like, okay, something's telling me you're not supposed to get on this plane. You're not. And I'm like, okay, so I'm seeing all this stuff that's going on with everybody, in the UK, they have this new,
they got the new strand of the COVID.
Yeah, they have a new strand of the COVID, and they're talking about how it's unhealthy to get on the plane. Too many people are too close, and then
that's actually very true. There's a new strain that's mutated in the UK. So what better way to stop the spread is to stop the travel?
Right, right. So I took all these signs that were being brought to me, and I put them in place and said, I can't go to Vegas. I can't do this trip. There's too many signs that are being brought to me. There's too many angel numbers that I've been seeing, and I really need to wake up. And the angel numbers are 111, 444, and 888.
444 though.
I'm sorry.
Every morning at 4:44, if I catch it, then yeah.
That means that your angels are there guiding you and telling you that you're doing what you need to be doing.
Oh no,
you're on the right path.
Do you feel happy with the situation or the decision you made with this situation?
I do. Honestly, I feel calmer. I feel like I did this for a reason, and I'm going to be, if I would have got on that plane, I honestly don't think that I would have been coming home. something with, and when I was watching this, like when I would look at my phone, it would say 111, or something on the TV would say 444, and it's like all these things are coming at me so quickly, and I'm trying to listen to them and trying to keep an open mind, and I just broke down. I said, I can't go on the trip. I cannot get on that plane. I'm not comfortable. It's in my gut and I can feel it, and it's giving me anxiety. And when things give you anxiety like that, it's your body telling you something's not right, and you follow that because
they say your stomach is like your second brain because like all the nerve endings and whatnot that's attached to it. So that's where that saying like go with your gut instinct come from. Because normally when you feel some type of way down in there and you're like, oh, that's a bad idea, I shouldn't do it, you're absolutely right. Don't do it.
And then another thing, your first mind. It's the reason why they call it your first mind.
Because that was your first thought.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm just not comfortable going on the trip at right this point.
Brown or yellow?
So, wouldn't it be crazy? When was your trip supposed to be?
I'm waiting. It's December 30th, and I'm going to be watching the news. My thought process was the first thing is that would be a good strategy. Something was going to happen to the pilot of the plane.
Hey, wasn't it in Vegas where they had that mass shooting that like a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago?
Yeah. No, that wasn't even that long ago. He actually, I want to say that was last year when he had booked that room, and there was a country music concert going on, and he shot so many rounds, the smoke detector went off.
Wow.
And then if you ever saw the scene of that is terrorism. If you ever watched the scene after they took the body out and everything, all the ammunition he had and everything.
He won't be charged as a terrorist though, but it is.
No, he's dead, literally.
Oh, that is an act of terrorism though, man. It's crazy to see what the world came through. Like, who would have thought that 2019 ushering in 2020, we would be seeing such a change in the world, not just the United States, but the whole world. And I think a lot of the time, as Americans, I feel like we're spoiled and whatnot, man. So, we, for the most part, America don't really give a damn about what's going on in the rest of the world, man. Most folks can't even see what's going on what's going on in their city, let alone the state and the country. You know what I mean? People so selfish and only worried about themselves. So I think that's another reason why, if it's true what they're saying about the numbers, why it keeps spreading. Because motherfucker, like, I'm not wearing a mask and I don't give a damn. They're walking around, don't even know that they infected, and just out here coughing and spitting and talking in everybody's face.
Yeah, but like I said, I put emphasis on the last podcast. If you're healthy, it attacks people's vulnerabilities like diabetes, obesity, immune system, like HIV, stuff like that. It attacks that type of stuff,
I mean, they said I tested positive for COVID-19 November 30th, or no, November 3rd. And the only reason why I knew something was wrong is because my bronchial tubes were acting up. And I went into the hospital because I needed some prednisone. And they was like, let's just do a test just in case. And I'm like, before I was like, no, you're not sticking that in my nose. Finally, I was like, you know what, go ahead, because I have to have it before I go back to work anyways. And when they tested me, they said I tested positive. Well, I thought they were lying. So I literally waited 7 days and got retested in a different establishment, and it was still positive. But by the grace of God, I had no signs and no symptoms besides my acute bronchitis acting up as it normally does when I have a stuffy nose or a cold. And that was it. But I can say now, right now, after having COVID-19, my blood pressure's up and down. My breathing acts weird. And I'm constantly having to take my inhaler, which I didn't have to do that much beforehand. Now I have to take it all the time.
And I was explaining that last night to somebody, like there's long-term effects after the fact.
Yep.
it stays with you. It damages organs.
Even if you don't have any symptoms, it just
It
affects
still
you in different
affects. So
ways.
yeah, it still affects you. There's long term effects. So it still affects you to that point to where
Right.
like next week I have my cousin going on. He beat it, but it tore him up though. So he got to rehab and get through all of that. And it's like the sickness, the treatment takes longer than an actual sickness.
Got a
The
question for
recovery.
you, Lola. Do you feel like COVID-19 was man-made, or this is just a natural disease?
I feel like it was man-made.
Yeah, I think so too, but I can't prove it, so I ain't gonna worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that it was from China, but I don't have any facts to back that up. It's just everything's
Well,
just
it is, but they saying it's man-made over there.
yeah. I mean
Well,
that's what everybody says. That's what I go with. So I
I've
mean, I
seen
don't know.
the
I don't
indict-
personally know. I'm not a doctor.
I've seen the
Right.
indictment papers of the dude that was from Harvard or whatever that went over to Wuhan with some scientists over there and was in making it. So I mean, if I don't know, people are weird and crazy, so it's possible that somebody had nothing better to do but type up fake
Yeah,
papers.
doctor sum up. Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, it is hard right now. Like we live in the information age, and who's to say what's good information, what's bad information? You know what I'm saying? So it's you got to use discernment dealing with everything in general, man, because you could get on the news and watch something on Channel 4 News, and just because they put it on TV, everybody like, yeah, that's the truth. That's the gospel's truth right there. And that could be a straight bullshit lie. How do you know?
and I have seen plenty of incidences where the news reported it and something else changed. Just for instance, Christmas morning that bombing.
Hmm.
What do y'all know about it
Yeah.
now?
Oh, the Tennessee.
Yeah. What do y'all know about it now? The story done changed so many times.
I didn't
I
even
don't
know there was
know.
a bombing in Tennessee.
Oh, very major. And then it went
Yeah.
from being a factory or something that exploded to a car bomb.
Yo, how about? Yep. I don't know.
But it's major. Very, very
Out of
major.
nowhere.
No.
But me personally, I feel that was one of us
What?
that actually did that. It was no terrorism
One
or anything.
of us. One of us.
But
Exactly.
it was an insurance scam.
Well, that would have been great too.
I
Well,
mean, because they're
if
saying
y'all
like
If y'all just hold tight, some $600 is on the way.
ooh, I'm gonna be
Oh,
rich.
it's gonna take longer now because he went for 2,000.
Yeah,
It's
And
not
it
gonna
was
pass
like-
tomorrow. That it's not gonna pass, and tomorrow is gonna be a whole new ball game.
Yeah, it is. So now that threw a wrench in the game. So
Well,
now
some people saying, he just doing this because he trying to prolong the process because he mad about losing the election. But since after the very first stimulus check, he been going back and forth with these folks trying to make something happen. When he first wanted to, Democrats didn't want to, and then when they decided, yeah, they wanted to play ball, then he was like, no, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so much stuff going on, and who's to say what's real? Man, come on, I just sent you the damn thing now. Why would you ask that question? Why would I send you the password if I ain't,
well, it's, we about done right now though. I mean, I gotta
That's
jump
good
off.
because my phone is at 8%.
So this gonna work out for all of us. Thank y'all though. I appreciate y'all showing up.
Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Sorry I didn't
Again,
talk more.
no, again soon.
Yes.
Okay. Rick, you gonna set that up?
Yeah, no problem.
All right. I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna upload it and everything, and then I'll make sure it gets sent to y'all. Okay.
All right.
All right. Good show.
Just leave.